Have you switched to a vegan or raw vegan diet, and after the initial detox you felt amazing, and then all of a sudden you started feeling worse and you start to wonder, is this not working? Am I doing this wrong? Is this not for me? What's going on with that? Let's talk about why you might feel sick on a raw vegan diet. First, I want to introduce you to this beautiful yellow orb, this strange glowing thing in the sky. Wow, it's so awesome to have the sun back again. We have been socked in with fog and it's so beautiful out today. I hope you can enjoy a walk with me. Why don't you throw on your shoes and I'll wait and we can go on a little walk together as we talk about this very important topic. Yeah, it's cold out, but we'll do it together. It'll be fun. Okay. So, you switched to a healthy diet, you went through the dreaded detox, and then you felt amazing. You have all this energy, your skin clears up, your asthma clears up, you think clearer, you sleep better, and that you go along on your merry way for a while, and then all of a sudden you start to feel bad again. You start to feel weak, and you start to wonder, maybe this isn't for me. Maybe this is not working. Maybe all those influencers that are happily skipping along the surf on a sandy tropical beach somewhere with their mangoes and papayas are lying, right? Maybe it's just not gonna happen. Maybe I need to try something else. Well, can I just encourage you? Number one thing is, God didn't lie or set us up for failure. When He gave Adam and Eve the original prescription for diet of fruits and vegetables, He didn't say, this is what you need to survive and you'll have no disease. And just kidding, it doesn't really work. You're gonna have to eat meat or whatever else. You're gonna have to add eggs or oil or something. That's not the plan. He didn't trick us. So, first thing I can encourage you in is to just have faith. It may not be what you think, what you expected, but it doesn't mean it's not working. Sometimes we just gotta be patient. So, maybe you're feeling bad right now, number one, because you were already sick. When our immune systems are so covered up by constant assault, it just has to manage. It's in symptom management mode, and it can't do any deep work of cleaning. So you just kind of feel a low-grade fine. And then all of a sudden you feel a lot better, and you forgot how bad you felt before because you were managing it. Your body was taking care of things, but it was hiding a lot of stuff away in your tissues. So after a while, eating raw fruits and vegetables, it's gonna start to clean out a lot of that other stuff that you thought you were past. It just does it on a deeper level. So be patient. Number one. Number two, let's go back. Number one is to have faith, and number two is just to be patient with yourself. It might take longer than you expected. And speaking of being patient, those people that sometimes we think they're either lying or only filming on their good days, they've probably been through the valley of the shadow of detox death and came out the other side because they persevered and they didn't give up, and they didn't give up hope, and they didn't make excuses, and they didn't say, well, I guess I need something else. They stuck with it no matter what. And they didn't starve themselves. But they just kept at it, doing what's right for their bodies. It's possible that you're going through an upgrade right now. You felt good, but it wasn't good enough for the potential that you have. And you just need to stick it out because the upgrade is coming. Okay, hope that makes sense. Number 3 is, how are we eating our food? Are we giving thanks? Are we eating in faith? Are we trusting that our body knows what it's doing, or are we eating in fear? stress and pressure. Are we putting a lot of pressure on ourselves to eat a certain right, perfect way? That can really ruin your health. So don't worry about being perfect. And don't eat in a stressful state, because when you do, and you eat in fear and not in faith, your body is not going to absorb the nutrients as much. And your digestion is not going to be optimal. So the Lord tells us to, whatever we eat, just to give thanks for it, and it's sanctified. So try that. Just take a few minutes and really appreciate what you're eating, and trust that you're doing the best you can for your body, and trust that God's going to take care of the rest. Number 4 is, it may not be the food, only the food. There might be other factors. There might be hormones that are in play here. There might be stress. You might be in a season of life where you are struggling. You don't have fulfillment. There's a lot of conflict. Food is so important. Just as you would fuel a car correctly to have it run optimally, you need to do that for our bodies too. But the gas isn't the only thing that's important in a car. You need transmission fluid and, brake fluid and all these things that I really know nothing about. So anyway, just an analogy for you. Think about it this way, that maybe we're putting too much pressure on the food itself when there's other factors involved, and just do a little self-monitoring and see what else in my life is not flowing. Is my relationship with God not right? Do I have conflict between my maker and myself? Do I have conflict between my fellow man? We are to love God, and we're to love one another. When we do that, I think everything just flows much better. And finally, on my list, number 5 is, you might be one of those special people that God has called to go through a season of suffering. Sometimes it's physical, sometimes it's emotional, sometimes it's spiritual, sometimes it's relational. God has chosen that his people struggle sometimes. As much as we want everything to be so easy and peaceful and comfortable, it's not always the best for us. We actually have to struggle. And in closing today, I want to tell you a little story about the emperor moth. The emperor moth is an amazingly beautiful creature. The thing is about it, just this gigantic moth, when it's in its cocoon, it only has a very, very small opening on the very top of the cocoon, so that when it comes out, the chrysalis looks exactly intact, as if it was still inhabited. But this tiny hole on top, the whole thing has to squeeze itself out, and is very laborious, very difficult, and time consuming. And this moth, when it becomes a butterfly, forces itself through this little tiny hole. Now, if you were to watch it struggle and strain and feel sorry for it, and take these little tiny scissors and snip a couple of the threads, you would be very compassionate in doing so. But you would cause its death. It would come out very easily, and you might feel like you've helped it. But what it needs to do and suffer through that tiny hole is it forces all the fluids into the right place in its body, and also into the wings. The wings are not fully formed and developed until it goes through that process. When it does, when it finally emerges from all of its toil and struggles, it is able to fly. And that might be where you're at right now. I have been there. I think I'm there right now too, trying to squeeze my life through this tiny hole of conflict and struggle and trials. And you know what? I know it's good for me, and I know it's going to help me to be stronger, have greater potential, freer. All the wonderful things that I'm longing for in my life, it doesn't just happen. It has to happen over time, and it has to happen under pressure. So if you're feeling bad right now, and you have put so much work into your wellness, and I feel for you, I know how you might be feeling. But just know that it is still working, even if you don't feel like it is. Because again, feelings are only that. They're not always fact. So please be encouraged today, and don't give up, and don't think you're the special one that this doesn't work for. Just know that you are in the process. You're going great places, and you're doing the hard work, and it's gonna pay off. Just have patience and don't give up. I'm in your corner, and we're gonna keep walking the way that God has planned for us, the path that the Lord has set out for us. It's not like anybody else's path. It's not like all the other people online or anybody else that you know. It's not like the rest of your family either. But you don't ever walk alone. You always have the Lord with you, and He will help you. So I'm praying for you, and I hope that you have a wonderful day. I hope that you are encouraged and strengthened along your journey. I'll talk to you next time.